Can't believe I opened up $4,800 worth of subwoofers and another $400 worth of sub wireless to find out it doesn't work. It's like having, like if you go out in my garage, I got all these fancy tools.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to fix the car, but if I do have to fix something, I want to have an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with home theater. Plus, I like the chase.
Yeah.
I don't really like using it all that much, you know? This is what gets me in trouble with the internet.
Yeah, nobody's going to understand that on my channel.
People get so mad. They get so mad at me. I just like the stuff.
Yeah.
I like the pursuit. I like what we just did.
Yeah, just plugging it in and that.
The shopping for it, the getting it, and then having it if I need it.
I can't wait to see the comments.
I'm sitting here, you know, I'm generally editing a video while I'm watching, you know, something on Netflix, but I want it to be a great, you know, great picture. I want it to be a great experience. Yeah. And then sometimes I might kind of lean into it a little bit. Yeah. It's kind of like having a GT3, you know, sometimes I might want to just lean into it a little bit. Right. But most of the time I like chasing it. That's okay.
You do you though, and that's the cool thing.
Everybody should do them.
Yeah.
But the problem is I share it with everybody and they get real mad at me. So no question, not blowing any smoke here. The best component in this whole system, the G3 is pretty good, TV, but it's.
Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back at the Middleton house, at Matt's house. We've got some changes today. We're pretty excited. So in the previous video, we installed some PSB on walls, 5.4.4.
Yep.
Matt, after we got to the end of it, he said, hey, I like the way it sounds, but I don't like the way it looks. We've got a darker cabinet, darker TV. Yeah. Didn't really care for the white. So we're going to be replacing these models with what, Matt?
So we're going to do the floor standards, T65s. So on the left and right, they're black. I'm swapping the BP, the BP8s, the little subwoofers. Yeah. I like them. I like the subwoofers. Sure. I don't love them. Yeah. And we talked about this in the last video. I'm in the love it stage of life. And so I was just not willing to accept it. Yeah. And so I felt like we need a little bit more juice in the processor capability, so we could have independent subwoofers. Correct. I felt like we maybe needed a little bit more power. Right. And then I wanted to change the center channel to black. Take the on-wall speakers off, so Mike will have to come and fix our drywall. Right. But we're doing floor standards, 4 new subwoofers, new receiver, and then a black center channel. Yeah,
and we'll be installing Kaleidescape later, so.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Getting a big old upgrade here in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, so I think that, you know, knock on wood, this will be the update.
At least for 2 months.
Yeah, but part of the fun here is figuring it out.
Yeah.
I feel so fortunate to have the ability to just try it, and I'll sell these speakers off and won't lose much, and it'll get the right thing instead of just sacrificing.
I think you're a prime example of enjoying the journey more than trying to reach a certain destination.
It took me a long time to get there. I would have been really beating myself up over this, like, oh, I screwed up, I wasted money, I made this big mistake. Yeah. Now I just look at it as it really is kind of fun. Yeah. It's like, oh, I tried. It's like I painted the wall a certain color. I didn't like it, and I'm just not going to accept it. Let me repaint the wall. Right. And so I painted we got the paintbrush out. We put the home theater together, and it's close, but not quite right. So the rears are all going to stay the same. Yep. But our processing and then the front stage we're going to adjust. Yeah. I'll sell off the stuff and try again.
This will be interesting because you're really used to having direct. Are we going to run direct with the new Marantz Cinema 30?
I'd like to try
because that's an upgrade, so we'd have to buy that license to be able to get access to that.
Yeah, well, I think we'll try the Audyssey. Yeah. I was just mentioning to you earlier, one of the things I'm struggling with the 778 is I feel like I don't have a lot of control. The center channel, direct just doesn't do a great job with the center channel for me. So we'll fix that. The other thing, remember I was telling you this the other day, if you guys watched the other video, we did the wireless sub controls from OC Audio. Yep. And so there's a transmitter on the back, right next to the Apple TV, and there's a receiver on each subwoofer. Right. I had gotten like tech support national coming out to visit my house from my internet provider. Right. Internet just around that time just stopped working, and I didn't connect the two, and so I don't know if it's because the operating frequency of the optical lines, the fiber lines that are in the house, but it crashed my internet.
Interesting.
And I couldn't figure out why my computer kind of worked, but my Apple TV didn't work at all. It's because the darn the transmitter's right in line between where my wireless router was and that.
Makes sense.
So we're going to swap to the SVS tri-bands and try those. They're quite a bit more sophisticated.
Sure. So a lot of changes here. So we're just going to document our journey. We're just going to hang out, have some fun, get this set up, and let you know what we think afterwards.
Nice. Let's do it. We got a couple of upgrades. You requested these, right? Dude. So we don't have to hang upside down.
Nice.
I got a couple of HDMI cables for our Kaleidescape, so we'll need these. Yeah. I really like these cables. We'll open these up in a few minutes, but these are Velux cables from Metro. So because now we have our fronts, we'll have to run it on the ground.
Yeah, you were running these at your house, man. They look really slick.
They're not crazy expensive. They're decent cables, you know. You're paying, it's copper's copper.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not going to sound any different than doing the CI rated, but at least it looks a little prettier.
They look really cool, man.
Yeah. So we got these puppies. Let's get these open. So I've never heard these. So same architecture, same, they're timbre matched to the PWM. So this is part of the Imagine line from PSB. PSB, of course, is Paul S. Barton, who's a audio wizard, who they actually have the Synchrony stuff, which is really, really high end. But they make these, I think these are $2,000 for the pair.
Right. Bring this down here, maybe. All right, so we got double boxed. All right, so this is going to be the bottom or top?
I would say this is the top here, if that.
All right, this port I can grab onto. Now these are going to be black.
Yeah, I decided to go black because my stand, it just looked off. So 1-inch titanium dome. I hate metal dome speakers, you know that. But the magic of the ferrofluid cooled and the waveguide on the front takes the harshness away. And then these things punch way above their weight class. Should just be magnetic
grills. So that's going to be this way. Nope. A little different. It's got to be that way.
Yeah, that way. Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. There should be some feet somewhere in here. Let's see them.
One of the. Look at there. All right, so on the bottom of the packaging.
Under my left, so I'm gonna hang on to the box for a little bit.
There we go.
Just in case.
Okay, so you're gonna need to use the spikes in conjunction with these.
Got it. Yep.
A little different.
Little pucks. So these little pucks do.
I think it makes it a little harder when you have to use the spikes with this, especially on hardwood floor.
For moving it around.
So that's an interesting, looks cool, but it's gonna be harder to set up. Yep. Actually no.
They do have flat feet?
Okay, so here's what they include. This is better, because I'm thinking that's gonna be a pain in the butt. So these screw into the bottom of the feet.
Yep.
Or you can use the spikes in conjunction with these little cups and they protect the floor. Or just use the spikes by itself.
Well, no, this is the top.
Is it?
Yep.
So we still gotta do that.
You have to do the spike, yep.
That just seems so weird. Okay. It is what it is. Yeah, this is my first time experiencing the towers with PSB.
Well, these are pretty new. They're, I think CEDIA last year is when they showed them, and they launched probably 3 months after that, 4 months after that. So we're only, and CEDIA just happened this year, right? So these are maybe, 9 months to a year old.
Okay.
I wasn't a huge fan of the previous Imagine series, but then when I did these speakers, my friend Adam LZ's house, I'm like, man, I really like the way that these speakers sound. And I've always liked the bass, what is it they call it? Their Alpha series, like really inexpensive. I really like those. And
these seem to have a huge value proposition.
Yep.
Because they're not super expensive, but they got a nice finish to them.
Yeah.
They look super clean. We'll flip this thing over.
Since we're on the carpet, it should be good.
And they're not heavy, so.
Yeah, so this is where, the speakers, they save money in materials.
Yeah.
It's a really simple cabinet, really simple lightweight material. I'm sure it's just a regular like MDF cabinet.
Yeah.
With a black, black finish. So you're gonna go
Interesting.
like this, I think. Just like the upper listens we tested the other day.
Yeah. Just the fact that they kind of make you use the, man. It would be nice if they had something that didn't require the spike. So that's what we're looking at right there.
Yeah. And then we'll have to put this guy on the floor.
Yep. Just gonna make it a little difficult.
And once you get into position, it'll be fine. But
right. Just don't want to be moving them around.
Maybe they want us doing that because it's not a super heavy, the cabinet isn't super heavy. And so they want to, if there is any resonance, they want to pinpoint that down to the spike to, I guess transfer it out. I don't know. I'm making stuff up on camera. Michael, my favorite subs.
Yeah?
I just like them. This was an accident for me. I wanted the specific Dynaudio studio monitors for the garage. And I'm like, well, just send me one of all your subwoofers, and they're not going to be any good. And I'm in love with the way that these sound. I call this is a gentleman sub.
Okay.
So they're dual 9-inch woofers, high excursion 9-inch woofers, pretty powerful, Class C amplifier. They're really expensive. They're $2,400 a piece.
Wow, okay.
We're gonna do 4 of them. One, basically where we have the BPs that you saw in the last video.
Yep.
And let me show you what these guys look like. They're pretty nice. So there's actually a sub 6 and a sub 18S. It's the same exact sub, a little different DSP. For this, it doesn't really matter. But the sub 18S is actually $500 less, but it's made for the Pro audio speakers. Okay. This one is specific to use with their like Evokes, Mits, and their regular home speakers.
Right.
Let's see, we got all those European cables. We need the US cable. So you have grills on each side with a little rounded hole thingy that goes into position. And then I specifically wanted these subwoofers for this room, and we talked about this before. Do we need 4 subwoofers in a family room? Certainly not, but we'll get nice, even distribution, especially with the Audyssey and the Cinema 30 that we're going to put in place here. So, get this guy out. These are like a brick. I think they're like 75 pounds or something like that. So this little guy, it's no joke. So I did them in black this time instead of white.
Right.
We went to gloss white or the satin white, but here's your subwoofer. Nice. So you have your dual 9-inch. So I mean, in theory, that would be effectively an 18-inch woofer, right? I mean, and a tiny little. This is probably what a cubic and a half foot. Tiny little box.
Yep.
And then they rip, man. So you have XLR in, and we also have RCA in as well. So we're going to run 2 of these wirelessly. So you're going to run these with the SVS tri-band. I'm hoping, because it's a little more sophisticated, it'll switch between whatever band is open and available in our network. Well, I'm hoping that these will work better.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how these set up and how they sound.
Yeah, this will pass 6 hertz up.
Okay.
Subs play down to, I believe, 16. So, we should be good. Those OSD audios weren't they capped at 20 or something, or 22 or something like that for some reason. So this is what we're going to use. Receiver transmitter for the 2 rears. The fronts will just wire directly. There we go. So that's what this guy looks like. So you got that's our transmitter. And that's our receiver, which will go on the back of the subwoofer. Nice.
All right, here we have the BP8. So these are going to be replaced by the Sub 6 from Dynaudio. Kind of see they're definitely still really compact, really small form factor. But guys, this thing is stout, super heavy. I'm going to show you the bottom of it. There you got the amp plate on the back. Just super compact. But I have a feeling this thing's gonna rock and roll.
So I think it's gonna be really good in here, yeah. The SVS is already nicer, Michael. They give us, first of all, they give us Velcro.
Oh yeah?
And they give us nice little whips. So a nice little whip cable to plug in for power. And a nice little, I mean, cheap but simple little RCA cable, so I don't have to, you know, coil anything up. It's gonna be perfect. And here's your, and they're labeled nicely right on the front, transmitter and receiver. So the transmitter will go back here, and the receiver will put the little Velcro on the back of the subwoofer.
Nice.
And we'll have a nice clean install. So here's our setup. So I have a receiver. I'll grab some zip ties, and we'll tie this up nice and cleanly. But I've got there's like a lamp, you know, what would be a lamp outlet underneath the couch.
Yeah.
So that's where I have this, because you need power for this and power for the subwoofer. So I have a little extension cord tucked up under the couch where you can't see it. And so this will all get buttoned up, and then I'll just kind of tuck this guy right here, and Michelle won't even know it's there.
And honestly, that's part of the reason why we went with a really small subwoofer.
Yeah.
You can see, beautiful living room.
Yep.
But most spouses aren't going to want big, massive subwoofers up in the front.
Yeah, I don't either. You know, it'll mess up a walkway, and just, you know, it's not ideal. But that's a good-looking little guy right there. I'll put the spikes in on this one too, so you gotta get maximum performance. All right, I'm excited for this, man. I've been a long time Marantz fan, like you have, right? So this is the Cinema 30, which is their flagship receiver. So amplifier, preamplifier built into one box. It has more darn letters and words and certifications than anything I've ever seen in my life. It's wild. And so this has copper chassis, doesn't it?
Yes, on the bottom.
Which I think is really cool. So copper chassis. I mean, that was always a big deal back in the 90s and early 2000s. Was you have a copper chassis, that means that you made it in life. And so this is 130 watts per channel, I believe. Come on, Michael, you're supposed to know these stats.
Yeah, I got to memorize these.
Yeah,
These are all well, truthfully, I'm new to the Marantz Cinema 30 myself.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've received one, and so I'm excited. I've got it set up with my 2-channel setup.
What was the preamps? AV
10?
8802. I think I had 8802A.
Okay, the older ones.
Yeah, that was in the theater that you toured several years ago. So you got your Audyssey mic, simple power cord, little fancy box. Didn't you like the remote? I watched your video on it the other day.
It's actually pretty slick. I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
Much kind of nicer finish. It's got some weight to it.
So we're going to be pulling out the 778 and putting this in. Oh yeah, that is nice.
Told you.
Holy cow. Yeah, that's one of the nicest.
Not bad for an
remotes.
AVR, you know?
I think I've ever. I like simple. That's really slick. Let's put our batteries in right now while I'm at it. We're in the execution mode here. We're going to get this sucker done, and set up, and working. My TV's ISF calibrated now, so John Reformato came by and got me all set up. If you've never ISF calibrated your TV, it's like $400 and it changes the whole darn thing. It's not quite as drastic as it used to be with like a 3-gun rear projection back in the day, but it's still, gets all your colors correct.
Yeah.
And then we don't need manuals, do we?
Nope.
No, I don't need manuals.
I've been using Marantz and Dynaudio for many years.
We need our 2 antennas. I saw, what is it? Oh, that's our Bluetooth and Wi-Fi antennas. I did see on your video, I do like that they provided us. We already labeled ours, otherwise I would use these. And we won't need the setup mic because we have a tripod, and I'm not going to be listening to any AM radio, so.
Exactly.
So no more radio anymore, so we can leave that in the box. I think I might hang on to this box. I've been chucking all my boxes.
Just nice little packaging.
Yeah,
the unit's solid.
Oh, wow.
Just a cool little presentation.
Yeah. I've opened a lot of AVRs in my day, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Look, they folded this.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know. To me, just the little details is kind of slick.
Yeah. Nice. So I can see the big Dynaudio transformer right there.
Yeah.
And then the beauty, I think, of Japanese receivers is HDMI works as well as HDMI can work.
Yep.
HDMI can ruin the whole experience, can it? I mean, gosh. And so that's why I've always loved the Yamahas, the Denons, the Marantzes over the years. And then they kind of one-up each other. And right now, Marantz is the top dog. They've been the top dog. They've not been the top dog. Onkyo Integra as well. And this sucker, I think it's pretty unquestionably the best receiver currently available. Oh yeah, that's pretty slick. Freaking heavy, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's that copper chassis.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. And then the beauty of BDI, our BDI stand, it'll actually fit. You can see the depth of the stand. All other stands that you buy, they don't make them deep enough for a legit receiver.
Right.
So see, I have the room to fit it and room to make my connections. Holy cow, that's a lot of options there, huh? I like how they finally started to eliminate some of the useless stuff.
Yeah.
They've slowly added more HDMI, gotten rid of component video switching. Mm-hmm. They don't have. It's funny, optical and these used to dominate.
Yeah. You have 4 or 5 or 6 of them.
I'm breathing way too heavy from lifting. Yeah, so we'll go network in when I get my network all set up in the house.
Yep.
So we're basically going to be using this, our HDMI ARC.
Yep.
Right, and then
4 subs.
We're going to use all 4 subwoofers.
Yep.
When we're going to use the lion's share of this, but all the rest of this stuff we don't need. We're not doing our antenna. I'm not going to have a turntable.
You don't have an external amplifier, but if you did, you've got 3 triggers, which is cool.
Yep. And then you have your preamp, your pre-outs.
Yep.
If I did want to add an external amp.
Correct.
Which if I end up going with some higher end speakers, like if we do some electrostats or something like that, I'm sure I'll do some sort of bigger amplifier and use this as the processor.
It's just going to give you a ton of flexibility.
Yeah. Oh, there is a component video in. Look at that. That's cool. It still has it. Still even has a regular analog interlaced video in.
You're going to have to bust out the Wii now.
Yeah.
Hook it back up.
Nice. Copper chassis, I think, is always cool. All right, so we're going to swap out the 778, which I like a lot. It's a nice receiver. Gosh, how do I have that much dust already? All the construction we've been doing. So we'll pull the 778 out. I need this 778 for Helen, for my Helen house anyway. Mm-hmm. I was just using it here temporarily. But you can see that, now this is Class D, or this is probably Class AB, I'm sure. And so much more, or similar power output, but a much bigger chassis in order to fit that big power supply. The big capacitors and transformer and all the stuff you need to get, the juice you need out of a, traditional Class AB amplifier.
And this will give you a chance too to play with Audyssey.
Yep.
And their user interface, and then even you could do Audyssey multi-EQ, multi-EQX.
Okay, you're going to show me how to do that.
That basically is like Dirac for Audyssey.
Sure.
So it gives you a lot more flexibility. It's a paid upgrade.
Got it.
We can also do Dirac in this as well. That would be a paid upgrade. So, but play with Audyssey. We'll see what you like about that. Then we can always go back to Dirac.
It should be, I have a Dirac subscription already. You only have to buy it once.
No, I don't think so.
It's just because of my NAD stuff? Because all my NAD stuff, I have one subscription.
We'll have to see. My understanding is it stays with the device.
Oh, well, not on the NAD platform because I have like 50 of them.
Okay,
and
interesting.
I only bought it once.
Well, we'll find out. We'll let you guys know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to find out. All right, where are we at here?
All right, Matt, number 1. I hate these banana plugs.
Yeah, but look how good they look now.
They're quality.
Yeah.
I love it, but the ones that have the screws, it just takes you a long time, so not a big deal. It teaches you patience is what it does. So
we got our bananas now.
So the great thing, these are great. It's going to make a really clean install. If you ever need to swap out your AVR, this will make it super easy. You also installed some ISO acoustics over here, bro. Let me take a look at this.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about the spikes, and I'm like, oh shoot, I have these fancy isolation feet.
Yeah, let me move this out of the way. So check these out, guys.
Yeah, Yeah. The only thing is, I think these are like the third the price of the speakers. I think they're like hundreds of dollars. But I bought them for I forget what I bought them for. Something fancy.
Yeah.
And well, they're going on these speakers.
Sure.
Then we can get rid of the spikes. So they're Gaia GAIA 2 is what we put on there.
They look nice, man.
Yeah.
Definitely like dress it up.
Chase, get out of here, buddy.
But that'll protect your floor, and then we can work on toe in and figuring out where the best position for these.
Without having to deal with those little pucks.
I like it.
Plug in those bananas and I'll hold it.
Hold on, let me get those. There's little rubber
Fillers?
Yep.
plug.
What
So,
is that for?
so you actually pop these out so that you can access the banana plugs.
Oh, there we go.
Need something sharp, that little tool. Get the new center channel installed.
Same center channel, different color.
Yep. It's gonna look nice.
Hope that fits.
Should just disappear.
I have no idea where the.
There she goes.
That was easy.
All right, guys, since we're using banana plugs right here,
Pulling
For a
our hair
little-
loose.
for a long time, I didn't realize these right here, these are just tabs. So you pop these out, just take a little screwdriver under there, and they'll just lift right out.
Really easy.
No, the hardest part is getting beneath it.
Yeah.
Sometimes just depending on how they're made, you can loosen these.
Is that easier?
Sometimes you may not be able
these
to.
are these are in.
Yeah, so you may not be able to do it. Well, there you go.
All right.
So you can see he was able to remove the whole thing.
Yeah, it's got like a spring clip in there.
Okay,
So I'm gonna poke it out
there you go.
from the back.
Yep, just like that.
Easy.
So this is what's in there. It's literally just a little plug.
Screw that bad boy back
Yep.
on.
And sometimes if you just bring it back just a little bit, then
Think
it
maybe
may,
I can pop it
yeah,
out?
try that.
Man, I still can't get underneath.
It's really tight.
All right.
but-
I'm just gonna go with what works.
Yeah, there you go. But that way, those of you that want to use banana plugs, sometimes you look at the back and go, man, I don't have the option. You actually do.
Just giving that a little
Pop it right through the middle.
poke.
There you go. And that's how you do it. All right, so we've got the center channel installed. Matt and Rusty are hooking up the other two towers. So what do you think about?
there and tell us like how it looks.
Now, I did say this when we set up it. I said, oh man, it looks great, didn't I? And
Yep,
then I
you did.
changed- Then by the end of the video, I changed. And then that next day I called you and said, that ain't it. This is it.
That is
That
it.
looks, is classy the right word?
Yeah. I like it, man.
Even though you got some floor standers, that just looks the part,
Yeah.
you know?
So we
If you're
kept the rears white. So
Yep.
you see those over there.
Yep. Black center channel, so same center channel, just black.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll fill the holes next to the TVs. We'll fix the drywall.
Right.
The subwoofers being black, the speakers being black, and the subwoofers back here black as well make more sense.
Yeah.
These subwoofers are way better too.
Well, Michelle even came in today and she said, you know what?
Yeah.
As soon as they went up, I was like, I didn't like the white. Something about it, she just wasn't feeling it either. So
Yep. I'm gonna have to do some more cable work, but see that, you can see the speaker wire hanging out underneath there. Looks like a snake.
look
Yeah.
pretty sharp, man.
All right, so now we gotta figure out how to calibrate this thing.
That's going to be the easy part.
Yep.
All right, so we're at the point now where Rusty and Matt are going to go through just Audyssey. So they've never actually gone through it. So you can go ahead and start walking through it, Matt.
Okay. I think I can handle this. All right, do I have to like read what it says?
You don't have to now.
Because I won't do that.
No, no. It's
Section
just going to say, hey,
replacing,
get your speakers set
connecting.
up. Keep going. Keep going.
Yep.
Okay, so here's where it's going to ask you just some basic questions.
You have
got
more than 11 speakers. No.
Okay.
I already did that.
We already connected the speakers.
Yep.
We already.
I already
It's even
know
going to
how
walk
to
you
do
through
that.
on how to strip the wire.
Oh, look at that.
Animations.
Yep.
I mean, it's very polished.
Connect the front light. Yep, we already did that. We got that.
So this is extremely
Yes,
easy
we have a
for
center
literally
channel.
anybody to set up.
Next, center channel's connected. Oh, this is cool. You have surround speakers. Yes, we do.
Tells you where on the AVR to connect those.
Connected those, theoretically.
Yep, we've already got that.
Trust your setup here. Do you have surround speakers at the back of the room? The answer is no, because we're going to use them as heights.
That's correct.
Right?
Well, no, we don't have to on this one.
No, don't do that.
No.
What?
So we're not
Not
using.
4 Atmos.
Yeah, we got 4 Atmos.
That's what I'm saying. So we don't have any surround back speakers.
You said we're going to use them as heights.
Right. We're using these as height, not surround back. Is what I'm
Correct.
saying.
But your surround back would be on your bed layer anyway.
Correct. Which I don't have.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. We're
All right,
saying
we're,
the same thing.
we're on the same page.
We don't
Gotcha.
have wide speakers, so we have 4 speakers.
Yep.
There we go.
And
We
where are they
have-
placed?
Top, front.
So really, we have top, middle. Right.
I would still, to me, I would still do this as top front and top rear.
Got
Because
it.
you really don't have a middle. The only time you're really going to have a middle is if you have a
At the
front
of
and a
your-
back.
So top, front.
Yep.
Now top, rear.
There you go. So that's what your setup looks like.
Yep. Understood. We got that. It tells us how to do it. That's cool.
Hopefully Michael plugged them
Yep.
in the right ones.
Well, the good thing is
We'll
once
find
we
out.
set up the calibration mic,
We'll know.
it'll do a test tone and we'll know
Yeah,
if we've
yeah,
got them
yeah.
connected correctly.
You have a subwoofer? Yes. We have all this. Makes me happy.
Oh yeah, look at there. 4 subwoofers.
Look, it even shows me exactly where I got them in the room.
Yeah.
And they're
Independent.
4 real
Yeah.
independent outputs.
Correct. So this is going to ask you, do you want it to be like typical standard or do you want to use directional bass? And I haven't really played much with directional bass.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got mine set up as standard.
Yep.
So it just shows you where you're going to plug that on the AVR. So we've already got that. So there's subwoofer 2. Keep going, 2 more. All right, so now we're in the speaker setup. Keep going. It says place your volume at about 30%. So now we're hearing the sound from the front left. We'll just cycle through each one. All right, so we're not using the janky rocket ship mic holder. So we'll go next. It just shows you how to set that up. Tells you grab our Audyssey mic.
So we want to do the Audyssey mic or are we doing the regular
It's up to you.
fancy?
So I don't know if you can use a fancy.
That's what we want to figure out.
Okay. So
Well, and I think that depends on which software you're using. So if you're going to use their
So
Audyssey,
right now I can't move.
right.
yeah.
So it's waiting and anticipating for you to plug that into
If
the
you're
front of
gonna
the
use
unit.
Audyssey. So, might
So
as
by
well
default.
grab that.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got to do, yeah, because it won't let, I mean, if you didn't want to do it, I can't get past this.
Well, it may give us an option later.
Gotcha.
So
So here's the Audyssey mic. Here.
So Matt's a big Dirac, loves Dirac, very familiar with it. Rusty uses Dirac quite a bit. Most of the AVRs and processors that I've had Audyssey. So I'm much more familiar with those. So I think it'll be cool for Matt to kind of get an experience with the base Audyssey.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll do the
and we'll
Audyssey.
buy, I think we should buy the other one.
Mm-hmm.
You like that better?
All right, and then have a seat, and then we can always loosen this and raise it up if we need to. What are you thinking? That looks pretty good.
Yep.
All right, I'm cool with that. I'd
Okay.
rather have it there because you're a pretty tall guy anyway. Okay, we've got it centered. So primary seat, even like in my living room, is right about where the crack is on the sofa.
So Audyssey Dynamic EQ, this sounds like the type of thing I would turn off because it sounds like it's automatic, right?
So when you're setting this up, yeah, it's going to be dynamic. So the way dynamic EQ works, and this is a preference. Some people love it, some people hate it. If you're listening to, let's say, volume at, just normal listening level.
I'm watching Love is Blind 7, right? No like crazy action. It's like Dolby Pro Logic surround or something,
Or even if just the volume is just kind of normal listening, what dynamic is going to do is it's going to boost those low frequencies. And I believe it also boosts your surrounds a little bit.
Okay.
As you start to increase the volume, when you get to reference volume, which that's pretty loud, dynamic EQ is turned off. So
Okay.
the closer basically the louder you get it, the less dynamic EQ is applying. So that's a preference. If you listen to it a lot lower,
which I do, watching Sports Center and stuff like that.
the good thing, you can easily go in here and turn it on or turn it off. So
okay, so
let's try it on.
Yes.
But later on, sometimes it'll ask you, do you want dynamic volume on? I do not recommend that.
Got it.
But dynamic EQ, it's one of those things. You play with it, you may like it, you may hate it. Another way to think of the dynamic EQ is kind of like it's applying a house curve. Boosting those low frequencies at lower volume, and then the higher and the louder you get, once you get to reference, it basically disables that. Now this is what Audyssey determines. So it wants to set your fronts to full range.
Okay.
I typically don't. And so I normally go back in. I've got a video on Audyssey on my channel, but I typically am going to change that crossover. I want the subwoofers to do what they're meant to do and handle all the low frequencies, or most of them.
Yep.
It's at the center channel at 40 hertz. That might be a little low.
Yep.
So again, you may want to play with those. Your surrounds are set to 40 hertz, and then your top front is 60, top rears are 80.
All right, so I just did the basic network setup, got on my phone, went to settings, added it as an AirPlay device, good to go.
And they've made that easier too. Used to, you had to go through and click all your, you know, the manual buttons for your password. So we've got eARC, it already recognizes it's already connected, so we're good to go there. Okay, so this is if you want CEC.
Yep, which I do.
So we'll turn that on. So if you use HEOS, which you don't really use HEOS, right?
Nope.
You do Blue OS, so we'll skip this. But if you want to use HEOS, you could set that up.
Yep.
Here's a AVR app from Marantz if you wanted to use that. So here's the multi EQ editor app. So this would be the $20 app on your phone. So if you wanted to purchase that, that's going to give you guys a little bit of extra control. You can add a curtain so that Audyssey doesn't EQ certain frequencies, let's say 500 hertz and above. You can turn on and off things like mid-range compensation. So there's a little bit more flexibility on that. You can create kind of like a house curve. So Matt, here we are on the setup menu. At the bottom, that's the setup assistant that we just went through.
Yep.
So kind of walk through this, just take a look at it, browse through it, kind of maybe share your experience because you've had NAD. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the NAD's menu system and the way that you access everything.
Well, normally what I would do is just like I would if I got a TV or anything or a receiver, just go through and just figure out what everything is, you know?
Yeah. So that audio video, that's going to allow you to, it depends if you want relative or absolute volume. I like using a decibel. So I would set it to a relative instead of a 0 to a 98 scale. This is going to be in measured in decibels. If you don't want anybody to crank it up past a certain volume, you can set a limit on it. Power on level, you can even set it to where, all right, I want it at negative 20 dB every time that I turn this thing on.
Yeah.
The main areas that I typically go through to set up is going to be under the Audyssey. And so if we come down, actually, let's go to inputs. So here's where you would rename, correct. So you could go down to your source and we could rename cable satellite to Kaleidescape. We could rename media player to Apple TV. Speakers is typically where you're going to make all those changes. So if you wanted to go through Audyssey setup again, you would go that route. But we're going to go down to manual setup. And then here is where we can adjust our crossovers. We can set our levels. I like to take an SPL meter and verify what Audyssey's already done and make sure that all of my speakers are level matched. But here I would change that to at least 60 hertz probably. The best method would, of course, would be to take a measurement, figure out where your speakers actually measure the best and how those crossover with your crossovers or with your subwoofers. But I just wouldn't set them to full range.
The rest of the speaker stuff should be fine.
Yeah, the speaker preset's kind of nice. That just gives you an option to create a couple of different presets that you can easily swap back and forth between. Maybe you want a 2-channel preset, and then you want like a movie theater preset. If you're listening to 2-channel music, that allows you to add some settings, whether you want to do, some receivers call it double bass, or bass plus or main plus LFE.
You like to adjust your low pass filter?
No, I leave the low pass filter at 120 hertz. The biggest thing here is you don't want to set that to like 80 hertz because now you're missing the LFE content from 80 hertz to 120 hertz.
Got it.
Because that's its own signal, it's its own information. You're not going to get voices in an LFE channel. You're only going to get stuff from like explosions and things like that.
We're all set up.
Yep. So let's spend some time listening to it and let's get your initial impressions.
Wind 21010.
This receiver's in a completely different class.
You like
it's
it?
Not even close. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not ripping this. I'm not ripping this one out that quickly. I need at least 6 months. See, I really like this. I enjoy this. Especially since I know I'm going to do something crazy upstairs. I'm almost never going to watch a movie like this in here.
This loud? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little, personally, in my opinion, these speakers sound a lot better when you turn them down. When you have them cranked up, I feel like they're trying too hard. Like you're pushing them beyond what they're really capable of.
All right, Matt, we just finished doing a little demo. Not super extensive, but walking through that process with Audyssey, with Marantz. Just kind of initial impressions on that.
So I like Audyssey because I can go in and make manual adjustments, where with Dirac I have to do everything in the software.
Okay.
Right, so I like that. But it destroyed our subwoofer output.
Yep.
Other bad news, I don't know if we got this on camera yet,
think
but
so.
our wireless, the SVS wireless tri-band nuked my internet even worse.
Yeah,
than
it's
the
the actual internet.
So I'm going to have to have
And the OSD did the same thing, right?
So rear subwoofers, I either got to have Mr. Perry, my electrician, come and run power, and yeah, I don't think I want to do that. So anyway, the Audyssey, I don't know, man. I think, well, I'm at plus 6 dB more on my subwoofers, and I'm running the Audyssey at plus 12.
Yeah.
So
Which that's way too much. You definitely don't want to be in the plus 12.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to run a direct calibration. So I want to see. Sorry, I got something in my eyeball. I want to see if I have to buy another license.
Yeah, so you already have a license that you've been using with your NAD and different AVRs. I haven't gone through this process, so this is actually curious to me. I want to see what that process looks like. And if you have a direct license, can you use it with this? I thought I was told that you would have to, it's tied to the unit. So we're about to find out.
Yeah, let's see.
So he's loading up direct on his computer.
I've used it on 50 NAD devices. So there's my Marantz Cinema 30.
Okay.
Rocking and rolling.
So sweet. So you can use your direct.
Oh, you're right. Missing license for Direct Live. Dang.
Yeah. It's tied to the unit. Now I don't know if that is.
Not in the NAD world.
So now if you want direct for the Marantz, you'd pay the $200.
Dang.
Now I could reach out to them and just see if they'd be willing to let us use a temporary license.
No. I'm not. I'm not patient enough for that.
He's like, just get it done. Here's my credit card.
So this also has Direct Live, but Direct Bass Control as well.
Right.
So I might like that.
So there's two different kinds too. They have a limited bandwidth. They've got a full bandwidth. There's different pricing on there.
$350.
Yeah, $350 for the full, $260 for the limited.
You want full.
Yeah, of course. What is Direct Live? Bass Control is different. So I got to buy Bass Control separately.
I'm not sure.
So there's Direct Live, room corrected limited bandwidth. That's 260. Let's see, improves impulse timing, enable target curve, multiple playbacks. And then there's Dirac room correction full bandwidth. Oh yeah, you got to buy both, 600 bones.
Oh yeah, because it's got a bundle offer.
Yeah, I got to buy room correction full bandwidth and bass control.
That's a little steep.
$599
You already paid $4,500 for a receiver.
for one receiver. Maybe I am sticking with Audyssey. Dang, that's a big chunk to bite off.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I'll do, I think I'll play with Audyssey some more.
Now they also have the Audyssey Multi EQX.
Which is Windows only.
Oh, that's right. You got a Mac.
I got a Mac or a Windows PC somewhere.
Okay.
in this house. It's still in my moving boxes.
So you got some decisions to make. The good thing is you have choices too.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out what's best for you and your setup.
No question though that this sounds way better than the 778. I've got headroom. You know, when I run the NAD, it you know, I reach peak volume and I still want some more.
Okay.
This one we had, you know, 10
cranky.
dB to go. Yeah, we had 10 dB to go, and I felt like I was at my limit. The floor standards, I like having the floor standards better too. And then that black center channel is pretty sweet.
Yeah. It looks nice up there. I think it fits better.
I
with
told
your
you I was
aesthetics.
good to go last time you came.
Yeah.
And then I called you a day later and said, nah, version 2 is coming.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I
That might change.
always anticipate there could be a version 3 or 3.5 or
Yeah.
a 4 or 5, and that's the fun of this. I mean, you're at a point in your life where you have the opportunity to trade out some stuff, to buy this, to buy that, to sell this, and it's not as big of a deal.
Can't believe I opened up $4,800 worth of subwoofers and another $400 worth of sub wireless to find out it doesn't work.
Yeah, the rears. So we're not getting, for some reason the OSD and the SVS.
They operate, so the tri-band operates at multiple frequencies, so it shouldn't interfere, but I'm not sure what I would do with that. It's 2.4 gigahertz, 5.2 gigahertz, 5.8 gigahertz. It's highly resistant to all forms of wireless interference, so it's working great, but it's nuking everything else.
Yeah, the Apple TV pretty much crashed. It wouldn't connect to your end.
And I ran it, speed test at 110 on a laptop, and then as soon as we pulled the plug, 700.
Yeah.
It just totally decimated the whole network. Pairing talks about how to hook it up. There is no, it's only auto.
I'll reach out to the guys at SVS and see if they've got any possible solutions for that. What it could do.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You getting old there, Matt?
No, I've got a little hip, crick in my hip here from playing volleyball earlier.
Cool.
Dang. So I've got to do, you got to make a decision on spending another 600 bones on the software that's locked on this device.
That's the hard part. I'll be honest. That's difficult for me.
I've already paid $300 for Direct Live.
Yeah. That's what's difficult for me on the, I think when they came out with the Cinema series, that was one of the, they're like, hey, we got Direct, and that's great. I think it's awesome. But like in your case, you already own Direct. And
What if you're a pro? Like you're doing your installing and stuff for people?
Yeah,
Do they have pro software, or do you have to buy it for every single receiver?
it's a good question.
Customer has to buy it. Yeah, you're right about that. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. I've done like 50 different NAD devices.
Yeah.
Well, and their licensing is a little complicated because a lot of times you get the basic Direct, the $100 version comes free on the device.
Correct.
But it's pretty limited on
Then
what
if you want the full
then
bandwidth.
you can upgrade to the next, the mid tier.
Yeah.
I don't understand what full bandwidth, they're only allowing you to adjust 1,000 hertz.
That is correct. It's correct.
Really?
Yeah, it literally is only giving you a limit, and it probably says on there what frequency it's actually calibrating for.
Oh, 20 hertz to 500 hertz.
Yeah.
Well, what the heck would you want to do with that?
So, so part of the reason why they do that is some people like to add what we call a curtain. So typically in a room like this, what you're really needing to correct is the bass frequencies and dialing that in and getting your delays and so forth, and your phase adjusted. But your upper frequencies, typically you don't really mess with those. And so some people might opt for a limited bandwidth because they don't plan on calibrating above 500 hertz anyway.
Yeah, but I would argue anybody who knows that is going to want, anybody who knows the difference.
Yeah.
And under whatever you just said,
Right.
knows how to do that,
Yeah.
is going to.
And they may want the full bandwidth because they may want more control on that.
I just don't know that I care that much about this system. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
It fills the room. It's certainly immersive, right? I'm not going to listen to that volume, but maybe once a month.
Sure.
And so
you even told me last time, like you're going to be watching just a lot of sports in here.
Yep.
This isn't your primary movie room. We're going to be building out your dedicated.
As soon as you guys leave, college football's going on. I'm going to lay my gentle head here on the pillow at negative whatever 50 dB.
Right.
I'm just gonna take myself a little nap.
And that's why we added that dynamic EQ. So when you got it at just a decent volume, you still got some bottom end.
But I want it to be great.
Yeah.
It's like having, if you go out in my garage, I got all these fancy tools.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to fix the car,
Right.
but if I do have to fix something,
Right.
I want to have an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with home theater. Plus, I like the chase.
Yeah.
I don't really like using it all that much. This is
And
what gets me in trouble with the internet.
Yeah, nobody's going to understand that on
People
my
get
channel.
so mad. They get so mad at me. I just like the stuff.
Yeah.
I like the pursuit. I like what we just did.
Yeah,
That's
just plugging it in and that.
the shopping for it, the getting it, and then having it if I need it. But I'm not going to take time. I don't have time to watch movies. I'm freaking running around like a crazy person.
My audience is going I can't wait to see the comments.
I'm sitting here, I'm generally editing a video while I'm watching,
Sure.
something on Netflix. But I want it to be a great, great picture.
Sure.
I want it to be a great experience.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I might kind of lean into it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like having a GT3. Sometimes I might want to just lean into it a little bit.
Right.
But most of the time, I like chasing it. That's okay.
You do you though, and that's the cool thing.
Everybody should do them.
Yeah.
But the problem is I share it with everybody and they get real mad at me. So
And sometimes they're jealous that they can't be in your position.
I
And
guess.
You've busted your butt over the past, all your life that you've been working, but
yeah. So
with
why am I
Obsessed
building a
Garage,
theater upstairs?
just for fun.
You got it. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna watch 3 movies up there, but boy, is it gonna be cool to really jam on it up there.
well, when we move my family over here, I'll get to check out yours, and I'll get to check out Rusty's. You'll get to check out mine, and
Yeah.
we just have some fun together.
So no question, not blowing any smoke here. The best component in this whole system, the G3 is pretty good TV, but it's the Marantz.
Okay.
I mean, fit, finish, quality, just opening the door. The setup menu is
It's
fantastic.
weighted.
I love that they have Audyssey and Dirac, despite the fact that I'm cheaping out here and spending 45 hundo into the receiver, another $600.
Sure. I might be curious to check out and maybe even you would, the Audyssey Multi EQ X. So that's kind of like their version of Dirac. It unlocks a lot of features. It's computer. You'd have to pull out the
I wonder
PC.
if Multi EQ X will allow me to then still go in and manually make some adjustments to levels.
You should, absolutely.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Because Dirac you can't.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's the big problem with Dirac is level adjustment after the fact. And you have to go rerun the whole darn thing. You can't just go tweak the levels.
Because that's set on that first one, that
First
primary.
step, yeah. That's the one thing I
Kinda locked
dislike
in.
about Dirac is, oftentimes the center will be a little lean and I can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Unless I go redo the whole darn thing.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I love following your journey. I mean, regardless of whether you're swapping out stuff and I want to be a support to you. So if there's anything I can do to help.
I like how everybody gets to live vicariously through my crazy
Yeah.
of not watching movies.
Yeah.
And we're going to install a Kaleidescape in
Right.
here for me to not watch movies. No, I do watch. I've seen everything.
Yeah.
I've probably seen more movies than you have.
You probably have, because I'm busy. just
But
running
I'm
my
generally watching the movie while listening to a podcast, editing a video,
Yeah.
and writing an article.
Sure.
All at the same time.
channel. Right. And starting a new business.
Because if
and-
I don't, my brain, I get crazy.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, man. I'm enjoying the crazy. That's what you always say on your channel. Come along for the crazy.
Yeah, stay tuned for more crazy.
Yeah. Well, we're bringing crazy to the Youthman channel.
I'm just really bent out of shape about my rear subwoofers. I was really excited about that. I thought I had it licked.
Yeah. Well, let's figure out what we need to do, and we'll bring my audience along your journey. Because think about it, my audience, you guys, you run into issues like this too. You buy this and you're like, oh crap, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Now what's the solution? So we'll make another video when we figure out what the solution is. If it's
Yeah.
hire an electrician, if it's, hey, we were able to get, when you get your Ubiquity installed, maybe that solves that problem and you don't have that issue. Maybe it's your router that's kind of the bottleneck, or for whatever reason it doesn't like.
That's the next step. I think we'll do network setup, and then I'll do that on the Obsessed Garage channel.
Okay.
I'm going to share that setup of what I'm planning to do, cameras and recording and all that stuff. And which I don't really need, but now the subwoofer thing may be an issue, because then I'll be able to really diagnose what's going on with the network and the Unify, you know, the Unify app.
Yeah.
And so I can get into the workstation or whatever it's called, the Dream Weaver machine thingy. What's it called?
Dream Machine.
Yeah, the
Dream
Dream
Machine,
Machine.
yeah.
I can get into the Dream Machine software and then figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And it'll show me the interference, I would think.
Well, either way, we're going to have some fun. So hopefully this video has just been, you know, we just want to bring you along for our journey, for Matt's journey.
I feel like everybody shows you the after.
I know.
They missed the struggle, the fight.
Yeah.
You know, the fight to get to the result.
Sure.
And all you see is the end. And that's what I've always shared on my channel is the whole process.
Yeah.
Ah, crap.
Yeah.
I cut a hole in the wrong side of the cabinet that I just waited 6 months for, you know?
Yeah.
We've all done it.
Right.
And that's real.
Yeah, 100%. So hope you guys are enjoying this. Let me know down in the comments below. Definitely subscribe to Obsessed Garage. He's going to do some content on his channel. We're going to be doing more of the deep dive here on my channel. But like I said, we're just having some fun. Obsessed Home Theater, that's launched. We're excited about that. We've got Kaleidescape in the store. We've got another brand that we're working on right now. We've already got all the pages built for it. So we'll be launching that probably in the next maybe week or two. So definitely stay tuned for that, and I'll let you guys know as soon as that's ready. Well, Matt, always a pleasure, bro.
Thanks for the help.
All right, man. Hope you guys have a great week. God bless. Catch you in the next video.